Well, it's time for episode 399, believe it or not, guys. 399, a week away from number 400. I guess that's a big milestone. I don't know what we're going to do about it, but it's a nice number, nice round number.
Yeah, I mean, it's
coming up, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of at the point, like when you get like to a certain age, like where your birthday is kind of, it's like basically age 40, age 50, where 400 is kind of like a nothing number. Now it's just like get ready for 500. So
Amen.
That's kind of where we're at.
The numbers March Madness. That's all that counts. But we are the 3 Point Podcast. We're presented by the Memorial Healthcare Wellness Center. Make sure you get in shape with a membership today. Our other great partners include AZee Branding Solutions, Blackstone's Public House, Great Lakes Apparel Company, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Shiawassee, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, and ALS of Michigan. The Shiawassee County Fair is our sponsor spotlight. They've been in operation since 1850. The fair has something for everyone, has built an astonishing reputation, providing the best county fair they can for their friends and community. Friends, family, and fun. That's all you need to know. Check out the Shiawassee County Fair. It's shiawasseefair.com for more details. Well, I don't know about catch up other than been following high school basketball pretty closely. The Freeland Falcons, coached by John Fattel, my nephew, Jared's brother, made it back to the Breslin again. It's exciting stuff here.
Yeah, I'm actually flying back in for the games this weekend. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a great semifinal matchup against Romulus Summit Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rockford, on the other hand, we have another Corunna connection with Coach Clough. They're playing in a big-time game against Avondale in the Class A bracket. So it's going to be an awesome day on Friday, and hopefully we can see both those teams again on Saturday. I know a lot of Corunna people are going down to watch it. I mean, we're taking a contingent of probably 12 people. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun to see a lot of those people, and then it's going to be great to root on both teams. Both teams are honestly pretty fun and electric to watch. Both can really shoot the ball. Rockford, it seems like Rockford, I don't understand how. It seems like every game is a 1 point, like miraculous finish. Like it's been that way ever since Coach Clough has been there, it seems like. And then Freeland can really shoot the ball. So, and they're playing their best basketball right now. So I can't wait, man. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, it's this time of year and watching high school basketball in the tournament, especially when you have these good teams at this level. I'd take this product over really just about any other type of basketball there is.
It really is fun. And I mean, yeah, I know we talked about it. I think this past state finals in football, we talked about it was maybe a little bit of a letdown because there were some blowouts. So, sometimes you never know what kind of matchups you're going to get. It seems like we're getting some good matchups this year, but like we can talk about the day that you guys are, Friday, all the games.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like an all time. If you like basketball, if you like high school basketball, just go to the Breslin and sit there and watch a bunch of really good basketball back to back to back, especially if you have a couple teams you want to watch. I was going to say, though, that Rockford game, the close. So there's video, of course, of it that has been circulating all over social media. What an insane ending. So like a missed free throw. And then, the team that was playing Rockford got a rebound and just kind of threw up some like prayer. But the dude, like, I didn't see it pointed out much. I saw actually one of my friends commented on Kyle's Facebook. He shared it, and one of my friends commented on Kyle's post. And then I went back and watched it because I didn't notice. But like right before, basically when the buzzer sounds, Rockford has the ball, the game's over, and the students are starting to flood the court. But one of Rockford's players throws down like a pretty sick dunk. It gets lost in the shuffle.
Right.
And like one of my friends said, like, I hope someone got a picture of that dunk with the students rushing. That would just be an all-time picture. And in the midst
viral
of that,
nationwide.
Yeah, in the midst of that, Kyle's running out there like going crazy too. Like that really would be an all-time photo.
We better get on that, man. You're the ESPN guy. We'll get you a photo if somebody sends it to us, right?
Yeah. Right.
That'd be awesome. What got lost a little bit, that final or the finish was phenomenal for sure. Rockford's up 2. The runner up to Mr. Basketball, his name's what is it here? Cam Ryans. He's the one that was at the free throw line. He made the first one nothing but net, but he's also missed the game time free throw. And like you said, the follow putback, no good. It was well off. It wasn't even close. But a big win for Kyle. And we might as well call this, the Prep Spotlight presented by Jacobs Insurance Agency. Just those 2 games were great. Freeland and Rockford, we definitely have a lot of interest there because of our Corunna connections. But some other good games, PW, Palama, Westphalia, Grady Eklund scored 29 to lead PW to a 70-47 win over Schoolcraft in the D3 quarterfinals. His final point of the night was also his 2000th of his career. So that's pretty amazing. You know, I think he's in the top 10 or top 15 all time in the state with a 2000. Nice run. And PW just, I don't know what they do over there with those farm boys, but they just always seem to be there, don't they?
Every sport.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
And I talked about the Mr. Basketball. That was KJ Torbert of East Lansing. We'll be able to watch him on Friday. He was named Mr. Basketball, joins his dad, Kelvin, becoming the first father and son duo to win the award. Dad won the award 25 years ago for Flint Northwestern. So a lot of good stuff here in Michigan. They call it March Magic, but really it's March Madness. This is going to be awesome at Breslin Center for Friday and Saturday. In wrestling, Langsburg freshman Dylan Phillips recently won a state championship at 106 pounds in D3. Morris's Oliver Long won the state championship in the shot put at the Mitka Indoor State Finals. He threw the shot 60 feet 1 inch. That's pretty amazing for a high school kid, small school like Morris. Owasso sophomore Eli Worthington took third with a throw of a little over 57 foot, and Corunna's Isaac Jacobs took 8th in the 200 meters. Did you guys run track and do any indoor running at all?
I never did. I feel like I ran track like 1 year in middle school because, you know, at Corunna, we didn't have middle school baseball.
Right.
So obviously in high school, I played baseball, and we couldn't do the two sport thing back in my day. Otherwise, I'd probably go to ran track. But no, I never did indoor. That was when I was in high school. It was kind of more like a club. Like not very many people did indoor track back then.
It kind of was, let's just say I wasn't fast enough to make it to the invites that were ran indoors. I do remember during one of the off seasons, I like went to watch some of my friends run like an invitational like this in the off season. And, you know, our football coach was also the track coach. And I remember he was like, hey, why don't we just like enter you into this open run, like in this, you know, 200-meter dash. Like I hadn't trained, I hadn't done anything. I showed up wearing like basically sweat. He's got the same size shoes as you. You can just wear his track shoes. Well, I didn't stretch. Oh, well, it's not for another 30 minutes. Like you can just go stretch now. Like he had like an excuse for every reason like that I had to run this event. And I just find like I'm not doing it. Like I'm not running this event. I'm not gonna get anything from it. One, I would have lost by 400 yards. And two, I hate running track. I hated it with all my passion, and I hated the races. Probably because I always lost, but it's not a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I was okay. I ran the 800 or 880 back in those days. I was okay, but I kind of hated it too. I mean, I just wanted to puke after every race. And I'll never forget, I did do an indoor invitational over at Michigan State at the old field house. And I had run my event and went downtown East Lansing and pigged out. I might have told the story before, but I pigged out, and I come back to the field house, and the track coach said, hey, you're going to be running the mile or whatever it was. And I said, oh my God. And I'm just got a full belly, you know. I think I probably literally did puke after that race.
You pigged out during a track meet?
Yeah, we had a break time. We could leave. So we went downtown East Lansing. Maybe it wasn't officially sanctioned to be able to do that. But
right. So wait, when did you run track? Because it's usually during baseball season, and Teddy the Jet Rodriguez definitely played baseball, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I did both baseball and track, and
so you guys could do two sports.
We could, yeah. In fact, 3 years I ran track and played baseball. 1 year I didn't. We didn't have to 1 year. The other three years we had to. If we were part of the baseball team, it was kind of Dick Moffitt's law at that time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think they always wanted you to run track to get ready for football season, to be honest with you.
Right.
which makes sense if you think about it, especially like Jared said, if the football coach is also the track coach. I mean, that's like a no-brainer. You buried the lead a little bit though. So your brother coaching, you know, in the Final Four, have you talked to him, Jared, or even just a couple texts back and forth? Like how does he seeming pretty right now, or does he seem a little nervous? What do you think?
I try not to bother him, especially during this time. I mean, what's kind of cool about it is, I mean, you basically play and then you're off, then you play and then you're off. And I mean, the last thing he needs to do is talk to me on the phone for 15 minutes about it. I've been texting back and forth with him a little bit, but for the most part, I just kind of let him do his thing. I stay out of his way, basically.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to him a bit. I mean, obviously, being his uncle, you know, we were there supporting the last couple of games, so we talked to him after the game. He was pretty cool, calm, and collected, and you know, he's become a a savvy media guy when he gets the microphones and the cameras put in front of his face. So, he was on the local news a couple times last week. Always good to see. And he does a nice job. He really does. Both him and Kyle. It's kind of it's a great story. Somebody should be writing this story, seriously, that Johnny played for Kyle. Kyle played at Corunna. They both played at Corunna. I mean, it's a natural story.
Well,
if
Kyle played for John's dad. So
exactly.
If I was still working at FanDuel, probably could have had. I mean, that's what we used to do, is put together the features for the state finals. So for one, we'd be doing one on Freeland because when you have a team that's not there that often, that's an easy one. Especially when you have Wilson Huckabee, their best player. His older brother was the best player on the team that made it, 4 years ago. So you could almost do the story on those two brothers. And then, it would be a good story as well. The Corunna connection and the pupil and the master, I guess is what you would call it. So it's a shame that's one of the bummers that, I always thought it would be cool if they played a game and, a lot of my coworkers were doing the game. Like, I always thought that would be awesome. One, I'd be like, man, I have all the information you could ever need about this program if you need it. But it's a bummer that it's on. We do appreciate NFHS, but it's a bummer it's on NFHS nowadays.
Right.
Yeah, well, at least we can talk about it here a little bit. It's a great story, and it hits home closely with us. But it's just really neat, and it's gonna be fun to watch both of those guys do their coaching at the Braz. Man, I'm looking forward to Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday too. Both games instead of a Thursday Friday set up. It's gonna be awesome to have a full day watching high school basketball. Let me wrap this up finally with our prep spotlight performance of the week. It's kind of it's not necessarily prep right now, but Leland High School, Leland, a little school up by Traverse City, class of 2006 grad, Alicia Glass Childress, recently became the 11th inductee from Michigan to be inducted into the National High School Hall of Fame. She joins Dearborn Heights, Robichaud, Tyrone Wheatley, Owasso's Brad Van Pelt, and 8 others. But what a great honor. And I did a little further looking at her bio. I mean, she was a 3-time All-American at Penn State. They won 3 national championships in volleyball from Little Leland, Michigan. She went on to play college basketball at Penn State, and then also was one of the leaders on the 2016 bronze medal Olympic team. So that's a hell of a career for somebody graduating only 20 years ago.
In what sports though? Basketball or volleyball?
Volleyball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
pretty
impressive.
Amazing.
Pretty amazing story. And by the way,
did you happen to see, how did her volleyball team do in high school? You would think if even Leland, if they had someone like her, they'd be making a run.
Yeah, believe it or not, I don't think they won a state championship.
Oh, really?
I mean, they made some pretty deep runs in the tournament, but didn't win a state championship. If what I read, it sticks in my mind. I don't know, I haven't my notes right here, but I don't think they won. But just an amazing story from a little Class D school to go on to play big time volleyball and make the Olympic team and actually medal. It's just incredible. As we always say, suggestions for the prep spotlight can be sent to @3PointPod. And we do have a special shout out to Corunna swimmers, Nolan Carr and Pablo Chandler, for qualifying for the state finals. We did get poked on that. And I think you saw something as well, Matt, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. The Heartbeat of Corunna, who is a good follow if you want to keep up on Corunna news, a lot of sports stuff, tagged us in a post. Corunna junior Carter Doyle and the 18U Lansing Spartans hockey team won the Michigan Amateur Hockey Association state championship. So pretty cool for a Corunna kid to go play for that hockey club and win a state championship.
Absolutely. And now speaking of that, maybe that's what we need to do. We need to get Sam, Heartbeat of Corunna, on top of that story and publish something, right? He can get the big scoop on Kyle and Johnny and Big John.
Not a bad point. Yeah,
well,
it would have been in the newspaper.
He's got about 36 hours to get it done. So.
Yeah, that's what's always sucked about the high school, man, is those teams. Even because when you'd only would do the championship games, is you only had like a 2-day window to turn it around, and then who knows? So at least with football, you'd have that whole week to maybe do a couple stories, but that's not the case in basketball.
All right, well, I think we're caught up, so let's take a little break and talk some college basketball to start it off with. We got March Madness coming up, the Big Ten tournament being played right as we record this on Wednesday evening. Northwestern over Indiana right now. Looks like they're going to close out that one, but Michigan State, they're on our mind. We'll get into that right after this. All right, I'll just tee it up for you guys to comment. Michigan, 10-point win over Michigan State. Going to definitely be a number 1 seed in the tournament. There was definitely some storylines in that game. I mean, Yaxel continues to play lights out. player of the year in the Big Ten without a doubt. Mara only had 4 points, but again showed if he's got to stay out of foul trouble. When he's on the bench, teams can make a run at him, and the big storyline really was, I think, Izzo after the game. I mean, just blowing a gasket.
What'd you think of that? I mean,
I was gonna say,
you're usually an Izzo defender. I think a lot of people were like, this.
Well, I am. And I think, I don't remember if I just shared a text with you guys or I tweeted something, but he had a bad couple of games, man. I mean, he almost, I hate to say this, but I almost was pulling for them to lose that last game before the Michigan game because he got too cute trying to get this whole senior thing with the 5 seniors in there before the game's locked up. And they had to win that game by the skin of their teeth. And I just thought, as highly respected as I am of Izzo, I thought he definitely had a coaching blunder there, right? I mean, in my viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very obvious. I think we've talked about it before. I don't, there's probably a lot of coaches who don't necessarily have a personal, maybe they have the respect as head coaches, but, they don't have a personal relationship outside of being a head coach. I don't think he has any interest in having any sort of relationship with Dusty May. It just seems like whether it's mutual, they each don't like each other or what, but it does not seem like Tom Izzo likes Dusty May. Yeah, he always says, in a respectful way that he hates Michigan, that's our rival. I hate Michigan, don't want to lose to him. So you take that. And then it just seems like something about Dusty May, Tom Izzo does not like. So for Dusty's team this year to, basically dominate them in both games. I mean, MSU hung around in both games, made a little run in that first one, but really Michigan was the clear better team in both games. Oh man, Izzo did not like that. And then you add in the Jeremy Fears stuff.
Right.
And that's a whole other storyline. But yeah, Izzo didn't make himself look good with some of those comments, but at the same time, I really do not think he cares one bit about what the media or what people on Twitter or, whatever, what they say or think about him.
You're 100% right on that. It wasn't a good look, but like you said, he probably doesn't give a damn. But,
not one bit.
when he's letting you know that he hears them and here's the Michigan fans, ragging on him, you can't give him that satisfaction.
Well, before Jared, before you jump in, and it's also pretty obvious because Dusty May, you can make a case for Hoiberg to win Big Ten Coach of the Year, I guess, but come on. Michigan just basically had one of, not just in the Big Ten, one of the best regular seasons in college basketball history.
Right.
And the coaches didn't vote Dusty May the Coach of the Year. Media did.
Right.
But the coaches didn't vote Dusty May Coach of the Year. So it's pretty obvious. People aren't liking Dusty May in the Big Ten.
I don't know if it's because he just kind of seems to be like a master of the NIL or if they think he's doing something shady behind the scenes or what, but I really don't understand it. I mean, I actually love that they kind of hate each other. Like, with Beeline and Izzo, it was obviously a great rivalry, but they seemed like they were actually friends, which kind of takes a little bit of the actual rivalry and hatred out of it. Now it's kind of nice that these two actually seem to really hate each other. I mean, it maybe started with the kissing of the court last year, but to me, Izzo, I mean, you guys said it, he came across horrible. I mean, it was like Michigan broke his brain, losing to them twice in a year, which I'm that happened. I don't know. I don't remember the last time that happened where Michigan's beat them twice in the regular season, especially at the Breslin. But, him saying we aren't anyone's little brother, you could hear just how freaking upset he was. He actually had one funny line where he goes, it was actually a pretty good environment, for here or something. Yeah. Everything was a dig at Michigan.
Well, it was similar. It was similar to the last game when he said something like, yeah, I guess they played, or he said they played a good game, I guess.
Right. He can't admit that they're just a better team when everyone else can see that.
I do think the cringe comment was the little brother thing, though. I mean, that was like, oh, they got you. They're under your skin, man.
It's gonna be twice as loud next year. That's a fact. But the Jeremy Fears thing, again with Izzo, is Izzo UC State fans are tweeting about it. Like, they're done with this Jeremy Fears behavior with kicking guys in the balls. And how many times are you gonna do it? It's Grayson Allen territory. Is Izzo the only guy that's oblivious to it? It almost seems that way. So I don't get it with the Fears thing.
So I'm just, the Fears thing. I'm just looking way back. 2018 season is the last time Michigan beat Michigan State twice in the same season.
Okay.
So I mean, it's it's been a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fears. I mean, he's their best player, obviously, and had a case for Big Ten Player of the Year. I saw an interview with one of the local news. And they asked him about it, and he's obviously, defending himself and saying all the right things that a player is supposed to say. I don't know how. The coach is also going to defend his player too. I don't know how there's this many cases against him with the kicking and the tripping and just all those kind of plays to not. I mean, I don't know if it's a benching him. I don't know if you suspend him for one game. I don't know if that is, what you do, but it just seems like there's no accountability. And I mean, when Michigan State fans are also saying that, it's not just Michigan fans saying
Right.
that, so I don't know.
Yeah, it almost seems like Izzo is embracing it
Right.
as far as fears goes. I think he doesn't want to damper it down. Obviously, he doesn't want him kicked out of a game, but
Right.
I think he kind of likes that feistiness, and that it is borderline dirty, though, without a doubt. I mean, that last kick in the balls, I thought, you got to be kidding me. I've been watching these things go on, and they said, well, now he's picked on because the spotlight's on him. I mean, it was a blatant kick in the nuts.
Right.
Yeah, we could only. I was hoping that the bracket would align where these teams could face each other in the semis, so we'd pretty much all but ensure that they'd see each other again.
You're right.
They still very well could in the championship. We'll see. I would love it. Who doesn't love a Michigan matchup? It's
Right.
the best. With
Except
Michigan
for the year. Remember the year that what was his name? Iggy Brasdeikis was on the team.
we got
and
all three.
Michigan State beat them all 3 times, including in the tournament. That
Right.
wasn't fun.
No.
Yeah, that sucked. I agreed. I remembered that when I was thinking about the last time that Michigan beat them twice. Like that was what I kept thinking of was when Michigan State beat us 3 times. Because you're right, it definitely sucked. That's for sure. With Michigan State, I will say they're kind of a fun team. I mean, they're a weird team, but they're unique. And I swear they have like 10 dunks a game, usually a few alley-oops. And I'm just excited to watch them in the tournament. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing in the championship game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's late in the second half and they're in like a dogfight round 1. I really wouldn't. So I'm just excited to see what they do. They're just a true like mystery to me. I'm excited to see what happens.
If Kohler and Cooper play like they did versus Michigan, they could make a run. Those 2 dudes, I don't know where those alley-oops were coming from, and some of those 3, it was like, where is this coming from? Luckily, Fears kind of had an off game against Michigan, but yeah, I'm with you. I could easily see them in the Elite 8 or losing round 2 to some 8 seed or something like that.
Did you guys see the classic tweet with Cooper and Imani Bates side by side, and they both went to that academy in Inkster, and the post was, who would have thought the tall guy was the better player?
Right.
I don't remember him at all.
I don't either.
That's what's kind of funny. He really has developed a lot at Michigan State.
He's a good player.
Yeah, he runs the floor well. For a period of that game, for like about 20 minutes, if it was like an all-time great game, both teams going back and forth, both teams having highlight plays, dunks. So it just was a lot of fun. They kind of are a fun clash of styles. And as for the Mara foul trouble thing, I think it's just more so a Michigan State issue than anything. They have so many bigs to throw at them. So much of their game is predicated around the rim that I think it really like puts a big stress on him. But you're right. They can't afford to have him play 5 minutes in the first half like it feels like has happened both the last 2 Michigan.
Yeah, and he can't make those silly fouls like that frustrating foul when he turned the ball over and then just shoved the State guy. I mean, those silly fouls you got to eliminate, you know, because it's going to get so physical now that we get to the tournament. So you guys liking the way the bracket's going to set up with the 1 and 2 seeds? Michigan could be sitting number 1. Looks like the Spartans will be a number 2.
I'd love it if they ended up in the same region. I don't think they ever really do that with 2 teams from the same conference, but that would be fun to me. I'm just hoping to avoid Houston. That they seem to be hovering around on the 2 line.
Yeah,
that's a team I know they've struggled a little bit recently. Maybe it's just because I'm in the Houston vortex here, but they always overperform in the tournament. It seems like under Sampson. So that's a team I'm definitely wanting to avoid if I'm Michigan is Houston.
Do you got anybody that we're coming up on March Madness Selection Sundays this next Sunday? Early early prediction, Jared. Who do you see in maybe out of the top 16 that may be able to make a deep run? I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
Yeah, I was gonna say Stephen F. Austin, just as they probably would have been a 13 or 14 seed, but they just lost to McNeese earlier today by like 20. So I don't know if that maybe makes me say McNeese and their manager Amir Khan. But no, I don't know. I'll be honest. This is me admitting my flaws. I am not as dialed into the bracket as I have been in years past. Usually that's not until the actual bracket is out, and then I kind of catch up. I'm not as big of a fan as I used to be in this sport. I don't know if that's a me problem. If it wasn't for Michigan, I wouldn't be nearly as dialed in as I am this year, just in terms of watching their games. So
I'm kind of curious to see how Miami, Ohio, how they do. You know, it looks like they're going to get in. I mean, 31-0 is 31-0. You know,
right.
I mean, maybe it's overrated a little bit, but it'd be fun to see them maybe make a Sweet 16.
I saw some tweets like breaking down. There's with a bunch of the trends. 20 of the last 23 champions had this qualifier. 22 of the last 23 champions had this qualifier, and someone put like all of those teams into like one thing, and there was basically 5 teams that qualified in both of those. It was like Duke, Michigan, Houston, Arizona, and UConn. So, and I think Florida, I think fell into those. So it was, you know, you never know what can happen in the tournament. Go by trends. It was basically between those teams. Yeah, hopefully it's Michigan.
Yeah. So typical chalk.
Would you guys say championship or bust with Michigan? Or like, let's say they would just make the Final Four and bow at the Final Four. You never say a Final Four is a bad year, but
no.
Man, if they don't win it this year, it makes you look and say, well, when the heck are we ever going to win it?
Right.
We've been close so many times under Beeline that it's kind of like, let's get this done.
I'd say
Final Four, but don't lose to Duke. If they lose to Duke again.
I think it's championship game or bust to me. And then once you get to the championship, I guess, you know, who knows? But because even Final Four, it'd be like, yeah, this team no doubt should make the Final Four. And then, if you lose to Duke again, or if there's some like 4 seed that makes it and you get upset by some 4, you know, Michigan State, say you get matched up with them and you lose to them in the Final Four. So you got to make the championship. You have all these historic stats that you've been, you know, rattling off all season. You got to make the championship.
Well, they're set for a long run. Let's hope that they could continue. Both teams I'd like to see get deep runs, and who knows what will happen when we, you know, get to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun without a doubt. All right, where do we want to go from here, guys? Any further college basketball commentary?
Not really.
I've got something I did want to talk about. NFL is cranking into gear right now, man. There's been some crazy stuff going on, starting with the Max Crosby thing, and then the Ravens immediately signed Hendrickson from the Bengals. I mean, what's going on?
Pretty dirty, it seemed like to me. I mean, it was pretty shrewd and smart. I mean, once they realized the Hendrickson market was kind of dropping, they realized you don't got to give up 2 first rounders to still sign a good pass rusher. That's what they did. But from what I'm hearing is they signed him while Max Crosby was like basically getting a tour of the facility while Hendrickson's getting the deal signed in a back room. Like, I don't know. I saw somebody say basically it's like karma will probably come back and bite this team in one way or another. Maybe not. I don't know. It's the NFL. You play to win, but I feel bad for Max Crosby and I feel bad for the Raiders. I mean, they went back on a handshake deal, and obviously you can do that, but it's never good when you do. I mean, we've all done it a time or two. You never feel good about it afterward.
Well, it's always contingent on passing your physical, right? I mean, that's the out, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and the crazy thing about it is like hearing, you know, Schefter and some of these other people on TV talk about it. The physical thing, it's kind of just subjective. It's not like it's some official NFL sign that it's just like the team physical. So like really they could just go in there and the coach or, you know, whoever the team president could tell the physician, hey, just fail him or say he failed so we can back out of this, you know, because Crosby had knee surgery after the season. So that's kind of what they're using, that his knee surgery isn't healing the way that they wanted it to. That's kind of the excuse they're using. But really, I think, like you kind of said, Jared, they looked at it and were like, wait a minute, we could get our 2 first rounders back and just sign Trey Hendrickson and, you know, move. I think that's more what it was. And, you know, so dirty, but whatever, it's business, I guess.
It's the NFL business for sure.
What have you guys made I'm going to be the doomsday version of this. The Lions have done nothing this offseason.
No, that's fair. It's fair to be doomsday.
It's like so I'm just going through the list of so Taylor Decker asked to be released. I don't really understand what that means. I don't know. We know he wasn't maybe what he used to be, but still. Alex Anzalone, you guys know I loved Alex Anzalone. He's on the Buccaneers now. Meek Robertson, he joined the Commanders. We all saw him. I feel like he was one of maybe the more underrated defensive backs, maybe in the league. I thought he always played well when he was called upon. We lost Khalif Raymond to the Bears. That hurts mostly because it's the Bears. Glasgow we released. David Montgomery to the Texans. And then Kyle Allen. I don't really remember Kyle Allen. He was the Bills. To me, here's the problem. We are setting up for another Brad Holmes, where he's going to try to build a Super Bowl winning team just out of the draft. You can't do it. Just adding a couple, basically hoping that a couple guys hit to this roster we already have is not going to get it done. And if this is all about just extending your window, kind of like Scott Harris and the Detroit Tigers, I'm over that. We've been a top 4 to 6 team, for a while now. Obviously, it wasn't last year, so maybe that window is closing quicker than they thought. To me, it makes no sense. We got to make some deals. The Trey Hendrickson deal, how do you not make that? How do you not make a Max Crosby trade? Anything. We cannot run back last year with where we've gotten worse. I would say we lost Montgomery, lost a couple key pieces on defense. We're worse than we were at the end of last year, in my opinion. And we have a couple guys coming back from injury, but still, this is a problem. Brad Holmes is resting on his laurels from a draft from 3-4 years ago when we need to be making some big time movement now. Why are the Baltimore Ravens feeling in such a need to make moves and we're not? I don't understand a big different franchise.
I mean, the thing is the Brad Holmes shine to me is wearing off a little bit because he has, he got that big leash for drafting because he did hit on a number of draft picks. He has swung and missed on quite a few draft picks too. If you go back and look at the 2024 draft, that's Terrion Arnold and Rakestraw were the first 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold might be in jail for robbery or whatever the heck is going on there. Rakestraw hasn't touched the field. And then the rest of that draft class basically also hasn't touched the field either. I mean, we're talking injuries. Brian Branch, who knows what he's going to be like coming back. Kirby Joseph's career might be over. Sam Laporta can't stay healthy, so like, we don't know what's going on. Okay. They got rid of Montgomery and brought in Isaiah Pacheco to be Gibbs' backup. That's decent. I'd say that's almost like a wash, like he's as good. He's a couple years younger than David Montgomery. So, okay. That's nice. But the one thing they upgraded center, Cade Mays, the guy that they signed from the Panthers, he's an upgrade. That's a solid signing and they got him pretty cheap, but I'm kind of with it. They're setting up and they restructured Goff's deal to free up a ton of cap space. Big
time free up.
But then so what are you going to do with it?
Right.
Are you saving that cap space to sign, some rookies like Gibbs he's probably going to get a huge payday. Is that what it's going to be for? Because you're setting it up that the only way you're going to be good this year is if you hit on every draft pick this season, this spring. And I mean, that's pretty risky, when the window is now, the window is now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, maybe the Crosby thing will play into their lap. Maybe they'll be able to get a decent deal now and get him. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Would you give up a number 1 plus another pick?
Yeah, Crosby? I would do like a first and a second or first and a third, somewhere around there. I mean, why not? Just to draft another Terrion Arnold? Like,
right.
Get us a proven player, and I'll live with whatever draft capital we gave up to get him. Mm-hmm. Like, it's enough of the hoping and like praying that you hit a miracle like draft pick. Yeah, he did that a couple times, but that's not the reality of most of these draft picks, man. Yeah. What'd you guys think of Pacheco? I mean, I like Pacheco in theory. He's kind of a fun player. They say he runs like he has star power in the Mario video game. But he's no David Montgomery, obviously. And he's really kind of underwhelmed outside of his rookie year. I saw Warren Sharp had kind of a good tweet pointing out some of his stats. So among 49 running backs with 100 attempts last year, he was 46th in explosive run rate, 47th in longest rush, 47th in success rate, 38th in yards per carry. And that's despite facing like the lowest rate of 7 and 8 box defenders last year. So he was horrible last year for the Chiefs. Then the Chiefs decided to move on from him. Definitely upgraded to Kenneth Walker. He's gonna be fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know. It's just I don't look forward to a day if Gibbs is out. He's not gonna be able to carry the offense the way Montgomery did. That's for sure.
Well, and the other thing
Yeah.
with Pacheco, he's a different kind of running back than Montgomery. At least Montgomery you could bring in, even though sometimes they failed to do it on short yardage situations. Pacheco's more of a running back similar to Gibbs, right? They're kind of similar.
He's a little more of a pounder
Yeah,
than
pounder.
Gibbs. Yeah, I mean,
He's
but
just small like Gibbs.
yeah, he's small, but yeah, I mean, that's what I see it more of kind of like a wash. Like, I mean, because they didn't really use Montgomery, so that's what I mean.
That's
Like, if
true.
you were
Yeah,
going to
that's
use
true.
if you weren't going to use Montgomery, then why hold on to him? And at least they got a decent
point.
offensive lineman back. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little frustrating to see all these other teams making trades, and like you said, the Chiefs getting Kenneth Walker, and the Ravens making moves, and some of these other teams, the Bears are still adding guys. They steal Khalif Raymond from the Lions. It just seems like I saw someone say, like, Dan Campbell. I mean, it seems like him and Brad Holmes have a really good relationship, but I don't like, can he look at Brad Holmes and be like, hey man, like, you got to give me something to work with here.
Right.
Like, I mean, we saw, you guys know my feelings on Goff. I'm not trying to rail on him, but we saw you got to have an elite offensive line for the running game and for your quarterback. And unless they're planning on spending their first 2 picks on linemen, or going to spend some of this cap money on linemen, but the offensive line right now is still a major question mark.
Yeah.
If they draft a cute position like defensive back or something like that, I might be done. I can't do it. Enough of the drafting of the defensive backs.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. But I mean, if Terry Arnold really is indicted, or whatever the hell is going on with him, if he's out for a period of time, like, I don't know. It's like, got to figure out some ways to fill the secondary.
Both safeties are injured, so they might actually have to draft a defensive back.
Oh my God. I'm not going to win a Super Bowl doing that shit, man.
Geez, I wasn't feeling that bad before we started this segment, but now I'm going down, down, down. And hey, the good news is they signed Teddy Bridgewater. Come on.
Hey, there we go.
I do love Teddy Bridgewater, but man, yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, we all love him, but I mean, to be honest, at what point are we going to actually plan a successor plan for Goff? We tried with Hooker, didn't work, flamed out. And it's not like you're going to win a Super Bowl with Teddy. I don't know. We spend too much time talking about the backup quarterback position I feel dumb every time I talk about it. But because if you are 2-year backup quarterback, you're fucked anyways.
Right.
Yeah, but then if you look at guys like Kyler Murray or Kirk Cousins, they're out there.
And I will say, if the Vikings do get Kyler Murray, which is kind of crystal balled to go there, I'm worried about that.
Yeah,
I think he's still got a lot of ball left.
Yeah.
I think he was just in a weird situation with the Cardinals. He always seemed kind of electric when I watched him. So I'll be curious to see where he ends up. Yeah,
well, that's the NFL. Hopefully the Lions can come up with something here before the NFL draft coming up in Pittsburgh this year. But yeah, definitely a little bit yawning on what the moves they did make. But at least, hey, they did sign a couple guys for the offensive line to fill in for the guys they got rid of. So that's kind of a wash too, from what I could see. Glasgow and the other dude.
Yeah, I mean, the center
game changers. It's like a bunch of they're pretty good. Like they're like the 4th best lineman on the team they came from.
Mays is pretty good. The center they signed is definitely pretty good, and at the price. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Other things. Let's get into the World Baseball Classic a little bit. Do you want to talk about it now or take a little break? What do we want to do?
We can take a break and then talk about it afterward.
Okay, let's do that. Let's take a break and talk a little baseball right after this. All right, Jared, I know you have thoughts. You actually went and saw a World Baseball Classic game. So why don't you start it off?
Yeah, so it's in Houston. What's kind of funny, and it's like, of course, this is the USA is let off the hook, is Italy is up 6-0 on Mexico. So USA will make it to the quarters. They don't deserve it, but they did make it. So, yeah, but I live right by Dyken Park, which is where the Astros play, and that's where a lot of these World Baseball Classic games have been played. So I went and checked one out on Saturday. It was the USA versus Great Britain, beat them like 9-1 as a blowout. But people are really like in the spirit for this thing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of crazy. Mexico for sure, which makes me feel kind of bad about Mexico getting their butt whooped right now. But it was a pretty sweet, environment. I would say, like, it felt more like a playoff game than like your typical Tigers game. I mean, the only bummer about it was the game was over like 3 or 4 innings in when they blew the lead open 5-1 or whatever. But I don't know. As weird as it sounds, I was really like racking my brain on what was super memorable about this World Baseball Classic game for like 20 minutes today, and I couldn't really come up with anything except this. So how much do you think, and I've never been one to complain about stadium prices. They kind of are what they are. How much do you think 2 beers and a pretzel cost at this game?
What stadium? Was it the Astros Stadium?
Yeah, Dyken Park.
$40.
Yeah, I was going to say $30 or $40.
Yeah, I don't know if it's World Baseball Classic prices or what. I really don't know. $75. So,
For 2 beers and a pretzel.
well, to be fair, I didn't even like order it, but it came with like a memorabilia World Baseball Classic glass, which is pretty cool. But still, I was like $75. Holy crap! But that's a lot. Most stadiums, it's just crazy. There's one or two that don't do it. Like I saw the St. Louis Cardinals are doing a cool deal.
Yeah.
Where it's like $29 for all you can basically drink and eat with hot dogs and drinks and stuff like that. And then obviously we've seen the Mercedes-Benz where the Falcons play, like they have like normal pricing, but it's gotten a little bit egregious. Like if you're taking a family to a ball game, I don't know how somebody really affords that. To be
you're starting to sound like me.
It is crazy.
I mean, what do you normally get at a game?
I usually get 1 beer, maybe 2 beers, and some popcorn. Sometimes a hot dog, but you're gonna spend $50-$60 no matter what for some concessions.
Yeah, you've got to, and then that's not even before souvenirs, but you've got to factor in all that to go into a game. Yeah, the World Baseball. I've been watching all the U.S. games. I love the World Baseball Classic anytime it comes around. It's really good baseball. It's basically like the Olympics of baseball. But the people railing on Mark DeRosa, the U.S. manager, it does seem like he didn't know the rule of the tiebreaker and if they were going to advance to the quarterfinals. The one thing about it, though, is he still put a starting lineup out there that was basically all stars. So, like people are saying like that he was like throwing the game or he was just putting in quote unquote backups. These aren't like AAA players. The backups on the USA team are still basically all stars. So, it's like, and Aaron Judge was still out there at the end of the game. So it's like, okay, yeah, he didn't, the big ones are Bregman and Bryce Harper weren't playing. Okay, it's the big ones. But, the rest of the roster is still basically all stars. So like, this isn't, like I said, it's not like he had AA guys up there trying to play in the World Baseball Classic. So yes, it was weird hearing what he said, thinking that they had already advanced when that wasn't the case. It is like, hey, you're the manager. You should probably know the rules of this thing. But the people ripping him saying like he threw the game, he's still playing a legitimate World Baseball Classic lineup. Like they just went out there and kind of got their butts kicked. So I wasn't all that mad about it.
Yeah, it was kind of a bad look. And it seems like the 2 guys that were interviewing him didn't know it either. And they're with the MLB network.
Right. It was all awkward.
Yeah.
We were talking. I didn't really fully understand how the tiebreakers even worked either. It's the tournament in itself is kind of somewhat flawed, and I think we're all in some. Why is this not a huge Olympic sport? I really don't understand. The Olympics don't seem to understand what's going on. I really don't understand how that's not a huge Olympic sport at this point. Everybody plays it, and the USA is not the best at it. Clearly. I don't understand how more. But another thing he said was basically, a lot of guys are dragging today. Like apparently they were out partying in the clubhouse and at the hotel until like 2 a.m. Here's the reality. Why is this guy the manager? I mean, it should be Jim Leland type. It should be somebody who just retired. It should be some guy who is going to command respect. It should be some guy who's managed a baseball game before. Like this guy did the 2023 World Baseball Classic, and that's it. And I do like him on MLB Network. I think he's actually pretty entertaining. But this it's just put him in a bad spot. To me, and it's he looked bad, and let's just be thankful, I guess, in his case, that it's not going to end up really faulting them. They're still going to make it to the quarterfinal stage, so it is what it is. But it was a bad look, and the thing, it's true. You're exactly right, Matt. It's like he is like they're still all stars like that, but it's like they don't care. Is how like when you're out partying the night before, you don't know the tiebreakers. It almost seems like he wasn't even managing. He was more so like worried about just like having beers with the guys. I mean, it's kind of funny. People pointed to the exact moment where he probably realized they needed like the run differential and all that sort of thing was a big deal when he has Clayton Kershaw warming up. And then all of a sudden they send in a totally different guy for the 9th inning. So I don't know. It just was a horrible look. Do you think Japan is having some random guy manage their team? Do you think the other teams were like a Mexico where they're in tears when they win these games? Like it makes you not want to root for the USA in my opinion. And I'll be honest, when I was at that Great Britain USA game, I wasn't rooting for USA. I don't know. Maybe that makes you unpatriotic. I want to see a good game. I want to see the upset. Like, I don't know. To me, like people are going nuts. It's like 9-1. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I would rather have just seen a good game. Like Great Britain scored the first run of that game, and then they robbed a home run. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, give me what we saw with Italy versus USA, because USA doesn't care about these games. Like, so if they're not going to care, I mean, look at Tarek Skubal. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
what a bizarro situation. I don't understand
Right.
why. Here's the thing that's crazy to me about Scooble. Your agent works for you. The Tigers clearly haven't shown enough respect for you to sign you to a long-term deal. You make the decision. He's like talking like it's not his decision. Well, I don't understand. Just because you had your starts scheduled out in spring training, like, dude, it's a 162 game season. We need you pitching your best in the playoffs, not game one. Like, obviously, it's not going to end your season if you pitch in the World Baseball Classic. You're going to throw those pitches either in spring training or in the World Baseball Classic where they actually matter. Let's have you pitch there.
Yeah.
It just was a horrible look for a guy who really has had like zero negative publicity ever. I just didn't understand at all what his thought process was and how he was kind of acting like he was a victim in the situation.
It does make it really seem like the U.S. is just kind of doing it for fun when Scooble can be like, yeah, I'll do one start and then I'm going to be done. It's like, well, if you're going to do one and then quit, just don't do any. You know, then just stay in Lakeland and stay at spring training, because making one start against Great Britain, okay, cool, but then it kind of throws off the rest of the rotation. So it did. I mean, again, it wasn't something I was like fired up about, but it was like, I don't know. It just seems like the U.S. team is just out there for fun, and the other countries really have some pride.
Some country pride and, you know, team pride. I mean, the Scooble thing, that's certainly not a team player type of thing. That's for sure.
Again, and why did we really, man, thanks for coming on pitching versus Great Britain, who I seriously think I might have been able to win that game for Team USA. They were horrible. Their best player was freaking Klay Thompson's brother, Trace Thompson.
Yeah.
Probably nobody even knew he had a brother. Like, I don't know. It's just bizarro. And that's another thing. I don't know if that was DeRosa's decision. Why did we, against the best team in this region, why did we not pitch Skeens or Scooble? It really made no sense either. But yeah, just they're lucky they made it through, and now we'll see. They have a chance to rectify the whole thing if they win it all. So I guess we'll see.
Are there any more games in Houston?
I don't know. I think so. But I couldn't tell you, dude. It's been like a madhouse over there. Like I couldn't sleep the other night because they've been having these like street parties. Like, and when Mexico had a big time win, like it was like a mega party for like 2 hours till like midnight. I was like, it's kind of crazy, but kind of cool. What'd you guys think of Bam Adebayo, 83 points?
Yeah, question. I've got plenty of thoughts on that. I mean, it's cool. 83 is 83. You know, if you score 83 points in a game, kudos. You know, that's a lot of points. He's been getting ripped a little, not necessarily him, the whole game. The whole situation's been getting ripped a little bit today. And I'm not going like super extreme because, again, it's not something that made me so mad. Yeah. He passed Kobe Bryant's 81, so that was a little bit of an eye roll. It's more the way the whole thing went down, because again, score 83 points in a game, that's a lot of points. You know, that's impressive, but it was a 20 to 30 point game basically the whole second half. So there's no reason for him to be in the game in that sense. It was a blowout. Your starters shouldn't have been in, but they know he was chasing this record. Okay, that's fine. But when the Heat started fouling the Wizards to give the Heat more possessions, so to give Bam more chances to score in a 20 to 30 point blowout, that kind of to me is like, all right, what are we doing here? This is a little fake. But then there were a couple of instances where other Heat players were at the free throw line intentionally missing, so Bam could maybe get a rebound and put it back in, or, you know, something. That's where I'm not a big, like, the integrity of the game. You know, I'm not like all about that, but that's where I'm like, all right, this seems a little like manufactured, you know, like the Wizards are almost like giving him this record. Whereas the Kobe one, that was in the flow of the game. That was, the Lakers were down in that game and Kobe had to take over and score 81. There was no just giving him buckets and putting him at the free throw line. And what did Bam attempt? 43 free throws, you know, like, so good on him for making free throws, you know, good job. But it felt a little fake almost.
Oh, it was. I mean, it's still so freaking impressive, and how random. Like, you would think that it's like Anthony Edwards going to do this, or I don't even, Steph Curry or something. But Bam Adebayo, and I don't even think anybody really associates him with being like a scorer per se. He's obviously a great player, an Olympian and all that. But like, I don't know, it just was wild. I'm with you. That last 5 minutes or whatever it was, where it was kind of fascinating to watch, where they were filed. Like, it was each team knew the game was obviously over, but they obviously didn't want Bam Adebayo to break 81 points, and the Heat really, that's all they cared about. And it was kind of fascinating to watch how they were, coaching and trying to find ways around it. But the thing that was kind of surprising to me, and I had no problem with them kind of going for it. Why not? It's us talking about the NBA when we never do. And it's because of this. It was a little bit lame, yes. But the one thing I think about is James Harden. He had 60 points at the end of 3 quarters and a huge blowout, when he was really rolling with the Rockets, and they didn't play him at all in the fourth. I don't know. To me, it's like, why not let him go set a historical mark? If you're cooking, and especially what Harden was that night, who cares? We already won the game. Let's do this. I don't know. I see both sides to it, and it definitely was bizarre to watch. And to me, it's more so who did it. It's Bam Adebayo is so random to me.
Right.
If it was Anthony Edwards that did it, it's okay, this is still has the same allure that it did. And the thing with Kobe, like you said, all in the flow of the game, it was in a totally different era where the game was a lot less, a lot slower. So I don't know. It definitely is kind of a bummer, but it was also pretty freaking impressive regardless.
Yeah, it's a story like you said, and we're talking about it, but it's also one of the reasons that I just can't stand regular season NBA, and they're having real problems. To me, man, that whole thing was like a globetrotter thing. Give me a break. That's basketball.
Right.
Come on, no way. Now I will say this: in the first half, he was lighting it up. So I understand why they ramped it up in the second half, but then the whole clown show with all the fouling and everything else. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but it's just a joke to me.
I've been listening to an audiobook called Tall Men, Short Shorts about 1969 Celtics Lakers finals. Dude, you listen to some of these stat lines, it would be Wilt Chamberlain had 53 rebounds in this game. It doesn't even make sense. What type of clown show was that back in that day? Well, I don't know, man. It's almost like that it goes in ebbs and flows. That was kind of a stat padding era. Then it really slowed down, and now it kind of seems like we're back in a stat padding era. I don't know, just kind of history repeats itself.
That was before 3 seconds. I know a lot of people go back to the Wilt Chamberlain, and there was no 3 seconds in the lane back in some of those days where he could. And then obviously he was a giant and incredibly athletic, so he could just camp out in the lane. No 3 seconds, just stand there basically the whole time. Grab every rebound.
Are you sure about that? They didn't have 3 seconds.
Not
Seriously?
when, three seconds started, I think, in the middle of Wilt Chamberlain's career.
Okay, all right. I guess I forgot that, if that's a fact.
But what's funny is he would have 53 rebounds, and then at the end of the whole thing about his stat line, be like, yep, they lost 132 to 129. What? I need to watch these games. How does one man snag 53 rebounds and you still lose the game? It's a weird time and a weird sport, and apparently at that point he was scoring 100 points as well. So I don't know.
He was one of a kind, that's for sure. But unfortunately, he didn't always have the best teammates around him like Bill Russell did. I mean, he was phenomenal.
Isn't I thought Wilt Chamberlain was kind of a POS, and he would have one game where he'd score 4 points, then the next game he'd have 50 points. He just kind of did what Wilt wanted to do.
Later in his career, but when he was in his prime, man, he was unstoppable. He just had no teammates. He really didn't.
So I was a little off on that. So there was 3 seconds, but the key was much narrower.
There you go. Okay.
So, I knew there was something with the key. They widened the key because guys like Wilt Chamberlain, the key was only this wide. So he could stand just on the outside of it and just dominate the post. So they widened the key to try and limit guys like Chamberlain.
They've had some weird changes of rules because of dominance, like Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem. I mean, they eliminated the dunk for a period of time where you couldn't dunk the ball. Think about that.
Well, what's one of your favorites? Not necessarily to limit dominance, but if the 3-point line was in when Pete Maravich was playing, he'd have every scoring record known to man, right?
Without a doubt. I think somebody documented that. They watched all the game films of his games and how his point total would have been. He would have averaged 53 points a game. Think about that. And not a dominant center. He was pretty phenomenal. There's no doubt. Now,
we see someone real quick. Back to the Bam thing real quick. I saw a guy that one of my friends, he used to be a stats guy at ESPN. He's elsewhere now, but he tweeted out, he went through, he's still obviously a stats guy. He went through, it was the top 100 highest scoring games in NBA history. Mm-hmm. And he took out free throw attempts of all of those games and then ranked them. So basically just field goals. And that Bam game would be
Right.
down to like the 48th best scoring game in NBA history if free throws were taken out. Now,
Oh.
whatever. That's just kind of like a goofy, fun thing, but just kind of funny to think about.
I should check out. That would be kind of cool to see. Because I do wonder, like, who is like the most efficient, like high scoring. Like, would it be like that Harden game where he had 60 and 3/4? Like, what is like?
Luka scored 73. It was 71 or 73 a couple years ago on only 15 free throw attempts. All the rest were field goals. So that was one of them. Kobe only had like 20 free throw attempts in his.
Do you guys think we'll see 100 points again?
I mean, this dude just had 83, and it seems like it took a clown show for it to happen. So
yeah. The funny thing about the Wilt Chamberlain 100, there is no video of it.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's kind of a conspiracy theory.
Right.
We have video of him in high school. We have it is kind of crazy. How's there not a single highlight from that?
It was played like at a high school gym in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I mean, it was a little bit of a weird thing.
The stats also seem made up. I mean, 53 rebounds. I have to watch the game film. I understand all the rules and how good he was. That doesn't even make sense. How do you snag 53 rebounds? Seriously, think about that. 53 rebounds. That's over a rebound a minute. You're just snagging every rebound.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Babe Ruth called shot, right? Like there's no video of that.
No.
Well, I don't have Wilt's stat in front of me either, but didn't he have a season where he averaged 30 rebounds and 50 points? Some crazy stat like that for the full season.
His stats were insane.
I need to watch one of those old games, man.
He's got some other stats too that are impressive, but
yeah,
we don't need to talk about those.
Yeah,
they're impressive though. I will say that.
I feel like is Wilt still around?
No,
he can't be. I feel like I see Russell everywhere. Like even since I was a little kid, I'd see Russell at everything. I've never seen like an old Wilt Chamberlain. Did he pass away? Like I don't.
Yeah, he passed away I'm going to say relatively young. I think he might have made it to his 60s. I think. I don't have that in front of me, but
63.
63.
Passed away in 1999. So before your time, Jared.
Yeah, that was the same year I was born. So that explains it. That's a bummer.
Yeah,
kind of seemed like a larger than life character, and obviously not.
He was,
guy, but
wasn't he also like potentially like an Olympic sprinter, or there was like something like that?
High jumper. Yeah.
I'll have something to report back next week when I finish that book. I'm kind of about halfway through. It's pretty fascinating. I think you'd like it, Ted. It's this author. He's kind of like he's writing it like now on his experiences back in 1969 when he was like a rookie reporter on this beat traveling with the Celtics. Kind of cool how he writes it. He's a wordsmith. I had his name, but
are you going to put it together one of your segments on it?
Maybe? I don't know if that one's worthy of one, but maybe sometime. I think people like that, but again, it was like a 20-minute segment, so that's saved for when we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, we'll work on your editing skills.
Yeah, get it. No edit button. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Do we have any other sports we need to get into, or we want to call this a podcast?
I think that's kind of it, right?
I think that's kind of it. We'll save Tedtertainment for the next time. Let's call it a podcast. Glad to have you back in the fold, Matt, and looking forward to some high school basketball this weekend, man. It's going to be awesome. You going to get a chance to see any of it on NFHS, or are you going to follow it on the socials?
Yeah, I mean, definitely social media, but I did think I'd at least Rockford, no offense to Freeland, but I might try and sign in for the Freeland game too, depending on, I don't know what time I work, but that's one cool thing about NFHS. Too bad the local coverage was cool that FanDuel and, back in the day, Fox Sports Detroit was doing, but
yeah. I don't even know who's doing the games nowadays. Is it just streamed
NFHS,
by the NHS?
I don't really know. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, it's some sort of NFHS production.
All right. Well, we'll be there live on Friday, so looking forward. Go Rockford and go Freeland for sure. All right, let's call it a pod. As always, we're brought to you by Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Get yourself in shape with a membership. It is the place to be. Other great partners include AZee Branding Solutions, ALS of Michigan, Blackstone's Public House, Great Lakes Apparel Company, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori Shook & Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair. And also, as we always say, peace and love, everybody. Be kind out there, and thanks again for listening.